Okay, so this is gonna be 308 clip number 2. Okay, it's 308 clip number 2. So this is gonna be the last chapter for this semester. Okay, this is gonna be the last chapter for this semester. So this one is gonna be talking about the dynamic model. Okay. Okay, dynamic model. When we say the word dynamic, it means that now we're gonna have times in the model. We're gonna plug in variable times in the model. So for example, the variable y, the most important variable in macro. Okay, here is a GDP, it's a national income, it's a total spending for the whole economy, total output. Okay, normally we have only a y. But in this chapter, we have a dynamic model, so we're going to have times in the model. So we're going to have variable y and t. Okay? Y at time t. Okay? Time t is like for today. Okay? Y at time t minus 1. Time t minus 1 is the previous time. This is like a yesterday. Okay? And y t plus 1. Plus 1 is one period in the future, okay? Like tomorrow or maybe next year, okay? If t stands for today or this year, t minus 1 is like a yesterday or last year. T plus 1 is like a tomorrow or next year. For example, if t stands for 2020, okay, this is 2020, then t minus 1 is going to be 2020 minus 1 is going to be 2019. Right, last year, and t plus 1 is going to be 2020 plus 1 is going to be 2021, okay, next year. So now we're going to have t as a times in the model, okay, again, t for now, t plus 1 for future, t minus 1 for the past, okay. Then, the model in this chapter, we're gonna have 5 main model that we're gonna talk in this chapter. Okay, 5 main model. So first, we're gonna talk about the first equation. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna say that we're gonna have 5 main equation in this chapter. Okay, 5 main equation in this chapter. So the first equation we're gonna talk about is, okay, let me write out here equation number 1. This is equation of demands, okay, for goods and service. Okay, demand for goods and service. Okay, this is the first equation, demand for goods and service. The equation look like this: yt equal to yt bar minus alpha r t minus rho plus epsilon t. Okay, this is an equation of demand for goods and service. So let me explain one by one. Yt is a GDP today. In this case, it is an equation of the demand. So Yt here is the number of output, total output that people want to buy. Okay, output that people want to buy. Okay. For example, if we have a lot of demand, people want to buy a lot, Y is going to be high, okay? Then they're going to produce a lot of product, okay? Yt bar is just like what we learned before. Yt bar is a level of the output at the best point in the economy, okay? This is the level of the output at the full employment level, okay? Alpha, you don't need to worry about it. It's just some parameter. We don't talk about alpha. We're going to focus inside the bracket, RT, small RT. This is a real interest rate, okay? And rho is a natural of the interest rate, okay? Natural of the interest rate. Normally we put RT and rho together. Rho is like how the normal interest rate look like, okay? So if R is higher than rho, if R higher than rho, it means that the real interest rate is higher than normal. Rho is like a normal of the interest rate. When RT is higher than rho, it means that the real estate is higher than normal. When RT is less than rho, it's like the real estate is lower than normal. So rho is a natural okay, natural rate of the interest rate, how the normal of the interest rate should be, okay. And the last one is epsilon t. Epsilon t is like a demand shock, okay, demand shock. If epsilon t is a positive, it's like we have a positive demand shock. For some reason, people spend more. Like we have a Christmas, we have a New Year, okay, for some reason people spend more. If we have epsilon t as a negative, it means that we have a negative demand shock. For some reason, people spend less, okay, for some reason people spend less. So we have this equation for the demand for good and service, okay. If I rearranging this equation a little bit, okay, if I rearranging this equation a little bit, I have yt minus yt bar, I put a bracket equal to minus alpha rt minus rho plus epsilon t. If I moving yt to the other side and then I put a bracket, you're gonna see more, okay? You're gonna see more on the relationship between real interest rate and y, okay? As you can see this bracket, when real interest rate is not lower than normal, when real interest rate is lower than normal, this bracket become negative. Negative and negative become, this is negative, you see? Negative and negative become positive. It means that the left side of the equation have to be positive. Then yt is going to be greater than yt bar, positive. You see that? So what this means here is when the real interest rate is lower than normal, when the real interest rate is low, people are going to borrow more, spend more, consume more, invest more. GDP, okay, output is going to be higher than normal. Economy is good, okay, economy is good, okay. So again, this is showing the relationship between the real estate and the GDP as a demand side, okay. If the real estate is lower than normal, it's good for the economy. People are going to spend more, invest more. On the other hand, okay, if the real interest rate is higher than normal, if the real estate is higher than normal, RT greater than rho, the bracket become positive. Positive and negative become negative. It means that the left side of the equation have to be negative too. Yt is less than yt bar. This one is negative. So what does it mean? What does it mean? If the real interest rate is lower than normal, GDP is going to be bad, economy is going to be bad, Yt is going to be less than Yt bar. So this is not good, okay, this is not good. So then it's done, okay? And epsilon t, in front of epsilon t is positive. So it means that when we have positive demand shock, Yt going to be increasing, okay? This one is positive. When epsilon t increasing, Yt going to be increasing. When epsilon t going down, Yt going down. When we have a positive demand shock, people spend more, GDP going up. When we have a negative demand shock, people spend less, GDP going down. Okay, so we have the first equation, like this one. Done. Then after that, we're going to go to the second equation. Equation number 2, okay? This one is what we call Fisher equation, okay? Fisher, this is what we call Fisher equation. It's actually the equation of the real interest rate, okay? Rt equal to It minus expected t pi t plus 1. Okay, this is a Fisher equation or the equation of the real interest rate. Okay, as you can see, the left side of the equation Rt, okay, the real interest rate equal to nominal interest rate. It is a nominal interest rate. Real interest rate equal to nominal interest rate minus ET. ET is expected at time t. What people think today about what? About what? ET of pi t plus 1. ET and pi t plus 1 is like what people think today about how inflation gonna be tomorrow. Okay? What people think today, how inflation gonna be in the future. Okay? For example, today Today, if you save the money, okay, the nominal interest rate may be 3%, okay? Today, okay, nominal interest rate may be 3%. If you save 100 baht, next year you will get 103 baht, okay? And then you have to think, because when you save the money, you have to wait for 1 year. You have to think about, hey, how inflation going to be next year, okay? If I'm thinking that the equation is going to be 2% next year, so this is minus 2%, okay, minus 2%. So what does it mean? I save the money, the nominal interest rate equal to 3%. I'm thinking that in the future, next year, inflation is going to be 2%. So the real interest rate I'm going to get next year, the real interest rate I'm going to get next year is 3 minus 2 equal to only 1%, okay, only 1%. Again, what people think about inflation is negative, because when inflation is high, everything become more expensive. The value of my money become decreasing, okay? So this is like the equation for the real interest rate, RT equal to IT minus expected T for pi T plus 1, okay? Done for the second equation. Okay, good. Then we go to the third equation. Equation number 3. This is Philip curve. Okay. So I'm gonna bring the Philip curve from the previous chapter. Okay, we're gonna bring Philip curve equation from the previous chapter. We're gonna use the Philip curve version. We're gonna use the equation of the Philip curve, the version before we plug in O'Kuhn law. Okay. So this is gonna be look like this. Pi t equal to expected t minus 1 pi t plus rho fat phi pi yt minus yt bar plus vt. Okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is a Philip curve, the version before we plug in O'Kuhn law. So before we plug in O'Kuhn law, this is a y minus y bar instead of u minus un. Okay. So then, what does it mean for this equation? Pi t is the inflation today. Okay. Expected t minus 1. What people think yesterday? What people think last year? What people think the previous period? Okay. Expected t minus 1. What people think yesterday about inflation today? Okay. What people think yesterday about inflation today? Phi, just some parameter, don't worry about it. Inside the bracket, this is important. YT, GDP today. YT bar, the full employment level of the output, okay, the best point of the economy, okay. And VT, just like before, VT is a supply shock. VT is a supply shock, okay. Let me explain VT first, okay. When we have positive supply shock, if VT going up, when we have a positive supply shock, VT going up. If VT going up, pi t going up, okay. So positive supply shock means for some reason the cost of production higher. For some reason the cost of production higher, just like oil price increasing. Okay, when the cost of production higher, we have positive supply shock, everything become more expensive, pi going up. Okay. So then what next? Okay, YT minus YT bar. Just like before, when economy is very good. If YT is greater than YT bar, this bracket become positive. When economy is very good, GDP is higher than the best point, YT greater than YT bar, this bracket is positive. When this bracket is positive, you see that pi t is going to be going up. Everything become more expensive. On the opposite side, okay, if YT is less than YT bar, when economy is lower than normal, less than the best point, less than normal, it means that the economy is bad. In this bracket, the bracket becomes negative. When the bracket becomes negative, it means that the left side of the equation, pi t is going to be going down. So it means that when the economy is bad, everything is going to be cheap. Inflation is going to be low. When the economy is very good, everything is going to be more expensive. Inflation is going to be high. Okay, so then we have this equation. Okay. Next one, we're going to go to equation number 4. Equation number 4. Okay. This is equation number 4. Equation number 4 is adaptive expectation. Okay, adaptive expectation. Okay, so you have expected at time t what people think today about inflation tomorrow. What people think today about inflation tomorrow equal to or depend on inflation today. Okay, inflation today. What does it mean is we assume that what people think today about inflation that's going to happen tomorrow is going to based on inflation that already happened today. Okay, this is the meaning of this equation. Okay, simple, done. Okay, for equation number 4. Then we go to equation number 5, the last one. Okay. This is monetary policy rules. Okay, monetary policy rules equation. Okay, so you have a very long equation here. This is the last equation. This is a monetary policy rules equation. This is how the central bank gonna adjust the nominal interest rate. Okay, on the left side of the equation is IT. Left side of the equation is IT. It means that this equation gonna show how IT gonna change. How IT going to be increasing, how IT going to be decreasing, depend on what? Depend on many things, depend on many factors, very wrong on the right side of the equation. This is showing the role of the central bank because central bank have power to control the nominal interest rate. Okay, the central bank have power to control the nominal interest rate. As you can see from the news, when the economy is bad, the Central Bank of USA, Fed, okay, announcing that the economy is bad, so then we're gonna lower the interest rate down. Okay, Central Bank of Thailand, when the economy is bad, they're gonna lower the interest rate down. Okay, so how they're gonna change the interest rate depend on this equation. Okay, depend on this equation. So then, okay, let's see one by one. Okay, let's see one by one. Look at the last bracket first. Look at the last brackets first. Y minus YT minus YT bar. The last bracket. Okay. So then, last bracket is showing that normally the central bank going to be increasing or decreasing the nominal interest rate depend on the economy. If economy is good, YT greater than YT bar. When economy is good, YT greater than YT bar. GDP greater than the GDP at the full employment level. This bracket become positive. Okay, this bracket become positive. When economy is good, this bracket is positive. The left side of the equation is going to be higher. When economy is good, normally the nominal interest rate is going to be high. Why? When economy is very good, central bank want to slow it down. How to slow it down? Increasing the interest rate. Because when you increasing the interest rate, people are going to spend less, borrow less, spend less, borrow less, invest less. Okay, the economy is going to slow down. Okay. On the other hand, when economy is bad, YT less than YT bar. When economy is bad, YT less than YT bar. This bracket become negative. Okay, this bracket become negative. When economy is bad, this bracket become negative. The left side of the equation, IT is going to be going down. Okay, So normally when the economy is bad, the central bank gonna lower the nominal interest rate down. Okay, why? When the interest rate going down, people gonna borrow more and consume more. When the interest rate down, people gonna borrow more and invest more. The economy gonna be recover going up. Okay, so this is the first bracket, how it affect the nominal interest rate. Okay. Then we come to, okay, the next bracket here. Okay. So the next bracket here, this is pi t, inflation today, and pi t star, inflation target. Pi t star is the inflation target. The target of the inflation that central bank want it to be. Okay. Pi t star is the inflation target. The target of the inflation that central bank want it to be. Okay. So then, if inflation today is higher than target, okay, if inflation today pi t is higher than target, pi t star, it means that this bracket become positive. When inflation is higher than target, it means that inflation is higher than normal. When inflation is higher than normal, it means that everything in the economy is too expensive. Too expensive. How to solve inflation problem? Okay, this bracket is positive. Everything is too expensive. It means that if this bracket is positive, the left side of the equation, nominal interest rate, should be higher. When everything becomes more expensive, when inflation is high, it can be solved by increasing the nominal interest rate. Why? Because when the nominal interest rate increasing, people are gonna borrow less, spend less, consume less, invest less. When you spend less, okay, everything gonna be cheaper. Okay, this is how to solve. On the opposite side, if inflation is lower than normal, when inflation is lower than the target, pi t less than pi t star, the bracket is negative. The bracket is negative, it means that the nominal interest rate I should be going down. So when the inflation is too low, it means that everything is cheap. Everything is cheap because the economy is slow down. How to solve this problem? The central bank gonna lower the nominal interest rate down. Why? Because they want people to borrow more, spend more, invest more. Then the economy gonna be recovered. Okay, so we have the second bracket here. Okay, then okay, say the y, the parameter in front of the bracket of y, say the pi, the parameter that stay in front of the bracket of pi. Parameter say the y, parameter say the pi. Okay, it's just a number that's showing whether the central bank care about inflation problem more than or less than caring about economy problem. Okay, the parameter say the y, the parameter say the pi that stay in front of the bracket, just showing, okay, whether the central bank care about this problem more than or less than the other problem. We're gonna talk about this later. Okay, so then for example, if we don't have the problem on y, if yt equal to yt bar, okay, if we don't have problem here, if we don't have problem about inflation, pi t equal to pi t star, okay. If we don't have any problem about economy, yt equal to yt bar. If we don't have any problem about inflation, pi t equal to pi t star. It means that this bracket equal to 0, this bracket equal to 0. Then the whole equation gonna be reducing to it equal to pi t plus rho equal to this one. And if you're rearranging the equation, it minus pi t equal to rho, okay, like this, okay, and then you can guess that we have Fisher equation. Remember, Fisher equation, RT equal to IT minus expected t pi t plus 1, okay. From the Fisher equation, from the adaptive expectation, okay, we have expected t pi t plus 1 actually equal to pi t plus 1. Okay, I use Fisher equation that we talked before. I use adaptive expectation that we talked before. And then I plug in this one into this one. Okay, I plug in two equations together. Then in the end, I have RT equal to IT minus pi t. Oh, sorry, this is pi t. Okay. So adaptive expectation, I plug it in here. Finally, I got RT equal to IT plus y plus pi t. And as you can see, I can use this one. Okay, plug it in this one, come back here. And in the end, I'm gonna have RT equal to rho. Okay, RT equal to rho. What I try to show, what it means is when economy is good, YT equal to YT bar. When inflation is good, pi t equal to the target, pi t star. Then the real interest rate should be equal to the natural rate of the interest rate. Okay? When everything is good, the real interest rate should be equal to the natural rate, should be equal to the normal rate. Okay? Natural rate of the interest rate. This is the idea. Okay? Okay, done for the equation number 5, monetary policy rules. Okay? Okay, so then after we have 5 main equations, let me list it down over here for you for the 5 equations. Okay, can you see it? Okay, we have 5 main equations. Okay, we have 5 main equations. Equation number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. We have 5 main equations. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna combine some of these equations together to solving for dynamic aggregate supply curve, dynamic aggregate demand curve. Okay, so again, as I mentioned before, this chapter is about dynamic model. Okay, before we have aggregate demand curve, we have aggregate supply curve. Okay, what we learned before is aggregate demand, aggregate supply with no times in the model. But this chapter, we're gonna solve for dynamic aggregate demand, dynamic aggregate supply, which have times in the model. And you will see we have T everywhere. Okay, we have times in the model. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna solve for dynamic aggregate supply. Okay. So to solve for dynamic aggregate supply, we're going to use equation number 3, okay, and we're going to plug in equation number 4. We're going to use only 2 equations, equation number 3 and equation number 4, plug it in, okay, then we're done, okay. So let me write down here, dynamic aggregate supply, DAS, okay, dynamic aggregate supply, DAS. So I'm going to use equation number 3, Philip curve, okay, pi t equal to expected t minus 1. Pi t plus v yt minus yt bar plus vt. Okay, this is equation number 3. And then I'm going to write down equation number 4. Okay, adaptive expectation et pi t plus 1 equal to pi t. Okay, so then I'm going to use some trick on equation number 4. And you can see equation number 4 is look like this. Expected time t today about Okay, inflation is going to happen tomorrow, pi t plus 1. What I want is I want something to plug it in here. This is expected at time t minus 1. What people think yesterday about inflation today. Okay, so the time is not matched. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use equation number 4 and make it backward. I'm going to make it backward the whole equation. From ET, backward one equation become ET minus 1. Okay, backward one period from ET to ET minus 1. Pi t plus 1, backward one period become pi t. The right side of the equation have to be backward one period too. Pi t, backward one period become pi t minus 1. Okay, so then I'm done. Okay, so then I'm done. So then as you can see, okay, here, expected ET minus 1 about pi t. Expected t minus 1 pi t. Expected t minus 1 pi t. Same. So I plug it in. Okay, plug it in. Plug it in over here. Then they're gonna have the new equation. Okay, pi t equal to pi t minus 1 plus phi yt minus yt bar plus vt. This is DAS equation, dynamic air gas supply equation. Okay, so that's so good. Okay, and then after that, I'm gonna drawing the graph. This is yt, this is y, o, and pi. Okay? The difference of the dynamic air gas supply that we learned in this chapter and aggregate supply that we learned in the previous chapter is about the vertical axis. Okay? The horizontal axis is going to be the same as we learned before, which is going to be y. However, the vertical axis before, okay, in aggregate demand, aggregate supply is going to be P as a price. But now in the dynamic aggregate supply, dynamic model, the vertical axis has become pi inflation. Okay, so the graph is going to show the relationship between inflation and y, pi and y. So where is pi? Where is y? Okay, y is here. Okay, pi is here. In front of y is positive. It means that higher y is going to be higher pi. So then it's going to be a positive relationship between y and pi. So you have DAS like this. Okay, DAS at time t. Okay, DAS at time t. Like this, keep going up. Okay, keep going up. So also good. Okay, the rest of the equation, okay, the curve of DAS at time t come from the relationship between yt and pi t. The last variable in the equation, pi t minus 1, okay, vt, okay, vt and pi t minus 1 is going to be the factor that's going to shift the curve. As you can see, vt and pi t minus 1 is positive, right? It means that if this variable going up, pi is going to be going up. The whole curve going to shift up. If vt and pi t going down, pi t is going to going down. So then the whole curve going to shift down, okay? So then we have the curve of DAS, look like this. Done, okay? And then we're going to solve for DAD, okay? Okay, so that's a good DAD. I'm going to use the first equation, demand for good and service over here. I'm going to write down here, yt equal to yt bar minus alpha rt minus rho plus et. Okay, done. Okay, and then after that, as you can see, this is rt. I'm going to plug in equation number 2. Okay, I'm going to plug in equation number 2. Which is RT equal to IT minus expected T pi T minus 1. Plug it in over here. Okay, gonna have IT minus ET pi t plus 1. Okay, minus rho plus ET like this. Okay, and then after that, they're gonna use equation number 4. Adaptive expectation. Expected at time t, pi t plus 1 equal to pi t. I'm gonna plug it in here. Then what I'm gonna have is yt equal to yt bar minus alpha it minus pi t, okay, minus rho plus epsilon t. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to use the blue color. This is IT, okay? The nominal interest rate. They're going to plug in the last equation. Monetary policy rules, equation number 5. Because equation number 5 is I, okay? I'm going to use this one, plug it in here, I, okay? So then what I have is yt equal to yt bar minus alpha, okay? Pi t plus rho plus theta pi t minus pi t star plus theta y, yt minus yt bar, okay? And then following by minus pi t minus rho plus epsilon t. This is what I have. Can you see it? Okay, good, cool. Okay, until here. And then as you can see, okay, then as you can see, this is pi t, this is minus pi t and minus pi t cancel out like this. This is rho, this is minus rho, cancel out. So far so good. And then after that, I'm going to move yt bar to the other side. And put alpha inside the bracket, minus alpha theta pi minus alpha theta y. Okay. I move yt bar to the other side. I multiply minus alpha inside the bracket. This is what I have. And then after that, as you can see, this is yt minus yt bar. This is yt minus yt bar. I can group it up together, moving to the left. Okay? So then, what I have is, I have 1 plus alpha theta y, yt minus yt bar, equal to minus alpha theta pi, it minus pi t star, plus epsilon t, like this. And then this guy, divide it to the whole equation. I'm going to have yt minus yt bar equal to minus alpha theta pi over 1 plus alpha theta y. It minus pi t star plus 1 over 1 plus alpha theta y epsilon t. I got this one. Okay, I got this one. So far so good, okay? And then to make it simple, okay, let me take minus in front of the bracket. Let me take minus in front of the bracket. Okay, minus like this. Okay, and then to make it simple, I'm gonna call this one, I'm gonna call this bracket as a A. I'm gonna call this bracket as a B. Okay, I'm gonna call this bracket as a A. I'm gonna call this bracket as a B. Okay, don't be forget that A equal to this one. We're gonna talk about this later. Okay, Then what I have in the end is then it's become yt minus yt bar equal to minus a pi t minus pi t star plus b epsilon t. Like this one, yt. Finally, I have yt equal to yt bar minus a pi t minus pi t star plus b epsilon t. This is dynamic aggregate demand equation, DAD. Okay? Finally, I got DAD, dynamic aggregate demands equation. Okay? This one. And don't be forget that A is equal to alpha theta pi over 1 plus alpha theta y, and B is 1 over 1 plus alpha theta y. Okay, so done. This one. So far so good. Okay, then this is y, o, and pi. Again, the vertical axis is pi, inflation. The horizontal axis is y as a GDP. Look at y and pi inside the equation. This is pi, this is y. Pi multiplied by minus a in front of bracket. So it means that pi and y have a negative relationship. When inflation going up, y is going to be going down. When everything becomes more expensive, demand for the whole country is going to going down. Okay? When inflation going down, okay, you have minus. When inflation going down, when everything becomes cheap, demand for the whole country will be increased. So they always have a negative relationship between pi and y. So DAD is look like this. DAD and time t always have a negative slope because inflation and y, GDPY always have a negative slope. Okay, the other factor, for example, pi star, for example, epsilon t, demand shock, okay? Demand shock in front of is positive. Pi star in front of pi star is negative. Multiplied by minus a become positive. Negative and negative become positive, right? So then what does it mean that for the demand shock epsilon t, for the inflation target pi star, when demand shock going up, when inflation target going up, positive, right? Positive relationship. YT is going to be going up. It means that DAD is going to shift to the right. Okay? Y going up, Y going to the right. Okay? On the opposite side, when demand shock epsilon t going down, when inflation target going down, Y going to going down. It means that the whole curve going to shift to the left. Okay? So we're done with DAD. So then, we're gonna have DAD at time t. We're gonna have DAS at time t. We're gonna have y bar, y1, yt equal to y bar, and this is pi t. Okay, pi t which is equal to pi t star. Equilibrium 1. Okay, as you know, DAS come from pi t equal to pi t minus 1 plus v yt minus yt bar plus vt. DAD come from yt equal to yt bar minus a pi t minus pi t star plus vet. Okay, so when you have a dynamic aggregate demand curve, when you have a dynamic aggregate supply curve, you have a y bar, the full employment level of the GDP. The equilibrium point here is a perfect point because the GDP you have today equal to Y bar, okay? GDP you have today equal to Y bar, you stay at the full employment level, okay? And it's implied that inflation today will be equal to the inflation target, okay? At the equilibrium point, we assume that at the long run equilibrium point there are no shock, okay? At the long run equilibrium point there are no shock. Let me write down here, okay? Long run equilibrium point, there are no shock. No shock is mean supply shock equal to 0, demand shock equal to 0, okay? No shock, okay? No shock from the demand curve over here, okay? If we are no shock, okay, this is equal to 0. Let me write down here, yt minus yt bar equal to minus a pi t equal to pi t star. When we don't have demand shock, epsilon t equal to 0 because we stay at the long run equilibrium point. And moving y bar to the other side, what this means is, if yt equal to yt bar, this one equal to 0, then it implies that pi t has to be equal to pi t star. So that's why this one also equal to 0. Okay? So when yt equal to yt bar, this one equal to 0, it's implied that this one have to be equal to 0 too. Okay? This one have to be equal to 0 too. So then pi t equal to pi t star. Okay? Pi t equal to pi t star. Again, in the demand curve, when we have no shock, Vt, supply shock equal to 0, Yt equal to Yt bar, this bracket equal to 0. So it means that inflation today equal to inflation yesterday. Okay? Inflation becomes stable. Okay? So that's why we have equilibrium point. Okay? One more time. Equilibrium point here. This is dynamic aggregate demand intersect with dynamic aggregate supply equal to the long run aggregate supply Y bar. Okay, Y bar. Okay, so it means that if our GDP stay at Y bar, if our GDP today equal to Y bar, it means that, okay, no shock, this one disappear, Yt equal to Y bar, it's implied that inflation is going to be equal to the inflation target. Okay, inflation going to be equal to inflation target. And in the supply curve, no supply shock, Yt equal to Yt bar, it means that inflation is stable. Inflation today and inflation yesterday is equal, stable. So then, this is the model we have, a dynamic model. Okay, we're gonna stop here today. And tomorrow, I'm gonna record a video clip again, how to play with this model. Okay, we're gonna have more cases to play with this model. Okay, so done for the day. So today we're gonna have two clips. Clips number 1 for the Phillips curve and clips number 2 here. 5 main equations solving for dynamic aggregate supply and dynamic aggregate demands. Okay? Okay, done.